Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself overthinking before being intimate with a man for the very first time? You're standing there, heart racing, and suddenly your brain starts screaming, "Oh my God, what's he going to notice first? Is he looking at my stomach? Does he see that scar? Is he judging me for not being as experienced as he is?" We've all been there. That moment where your insecurities feel louder than the music, louder than your heartbeat, louder than the entire experience itself. And here's what most women get wrong. They think men are laser focused on the things we obsess over. That extra curve, that stretch mark, that so-called flaw you think ruins everything. But let me let you in on a little secret. Those aren't the things that truly stand out to a man when he's with you for the very first time. What men notice, what really stays with them, is something much deeper, much more powerful, and it has nothing to do with fitting into some impossible standard of perfection. See, intimacy is not just about two bodies, it's about two energies meeting. And in that very first moment, he's picking up signals from you that tell him whether this is just going to be physical or whether it's going to be something unforgettable. So today, I'm going to share with you 5 things men instantly notice the first time they're intimate with you. These 5 things are the real game changers. And once you understand them, you'll stop worrying about whether you look perfect and start focusing on creating the kind of connection that makes him never forget that first experience with you. The very first thing a man notices when he's intimate with you isn't the curve of your hips, the tone of your body, or whether you fit into some kind of Instagram filtered version of perfection. What he notices, what hits him instantly, is your confidence or your lack of it. And this is where so many women underestimate their power, because confidence in intimacy isn't about being flawless, it's about being comfortable in your own skin. It's about the way you carry yourself, the way you let him see you, the way you breathe in the moment instead of hiding from it. Think about it. If you're constantly apologizing for your body, pulling the sheets up to cover yourself, or hesitating to let him see you fully, what message does that send? It says, "I'm not enough. I'm not comfortable. I don't want you to look too closely." And whether you mean to or not, that insecurity becomes louder than anything else happening in that moment. It distracts him and it creates a wall between the two of you. Now let me tell you something that most women don't realize. Men are not looking for perfection. They are looking for presence. When you walk into intimacy with an energy of self-acceptance, when you allow yourself to be seen without shame, he feels that. He's not counting marks on your skin. He's absorbing your energy, and nothing is sexier than a woman who owns who she is. Confidence in intimacy is magnetic because it invites him to relax too. If you are tense, worried, or in your head, he will feel that and start questioning himself. But when you're confident, when you allow yourself to enjoy, when you make eye contact, smile, and lean into the moment, you give him permission to do the same. You create an environment where the two of you can actually connect instead of perform. And that is what makes intimacy memorable. Now, let's be real here. Nobody feels confident all the time. We all have moments where we're insecure about something. But confidence doesn't mean the absence of insecurity. It means not letting insecurity dictate how you show up. You might think, well, what if he notices my stretch marks? What if he thinks I'm not perfect? But here's the truth. He's not thinking about that unless you highlight it. If you don't make it a big deal, it won't be a big deal. In fact, often the very things you're most insecure about are the things he doesn't even see, or better yet, the things he actually finds beautiful because they're a part of you. When you walk into intimacy with confidence, you shift the entire experience. Instead of it being about how you look, it becomes about how you feel. He will remember the way you made him feel when you looked at him like you desired him. He will remember how your energy pulled him closer, how your comfort made him feel safe to let his guard down, how you seemed completely at ease in the moment. That is what creates an impression that stays with him long after. So the next time you're intimate, remind yourself he's not there with you because he wants perfection. He's there because he chose you, and your greatest power is not in hiding yourself, but in allowing yourself to be fully seen. When you do that, when you lean into the moment instead of pulling away, you're showing him something that most people never do. You're showing him that you trust yourself enough to be vulnerable, and that is irresistible. That is why confidence is always the first thing a man notices, because it sets the tone for everything else. It tells him whether this is going to be just another physical encounter or whether it's going to be the kind of experience that leaves him thinking about you long after you've both walked away. The second thing a man notices the very first time he's intimate with you is the way you respond to him. And I'm not just talking about your physical response. I'm talking about your energy, your presence, the little signals you send without even realizing it. See, men are not as complicated as we sometimes make them out to be. When he's with you, he's tuned in, often subconsciously, to whether you're actually there with him in that moment, or if you're disconnected, stuck in your own head, or just going through the motions. Your response is everything. Think about it, intimacy as a dance. No matter how good one partner is, the experience will never feel alive if the other person is stiff, distracted, or unengaged. When you respond to him, through your touch, through your eyes, through your breath, you're telling him, I feel you, I'm with you, I'm enjoying this too. And that reassurance is something men crave far more than they'll ever admit. Here's where many people get it wrong. They believe intimacy is about performance. They think, if I just look sexy enough or do what I think he wants, then he'll be satisfied. But men can feel when you're just putting on a show. He can sense when your mind is somewhere else. And that actually creates distance. What creates closeness is authenticity. When you let yourself respond naturally, when you let out that little laugh, that moan, that smile, that sigh, you're showing him that you're not pretending, you're in the moment with him. And that's what makes him feel connected to you. The truth is, your response tells him as much about how he's doing as it does about how you're feeling. If you stay silent, if you stay stiff, if you don't react, he'll begin to question himself. He'll wonder if he's enough for you, if he's doing something wrong, or if you're simply not that into it. But when you give him little signals, when you guide him with your hands, when you look into his eyes, when you let your body show him what feels good, you're giving him the confidence to open up even more. You're saying, yes, I'm here. Yes, I want this. Yes. Keep going. And let me tell you something powerful. The way you respond can turn an ordinary moment into something extraordinary, because men don't just want physical release. They want to feel like they are giving you pleasure too. Your responsiveness makes him feel like he's not just taking, but that he's giving something meaningful. That exchange of energy is what elevates intimacy from mechanical to magical. Now, does this mean you need to exaggerate your reactions or fake something you don't feel? Absolutely not. In fact, faking it is one of the quickest ways to create disconnection, because even if he doesn't consciously pick up on it, he will sense that something is off. What I'm saying is, don't hold back. If something feels good, let it show. If you want something different, guide him with kindness. If you're enjoying the moment, let him see that joy in your eyes and in your touch. Those honest responses are far more impactful than any performance you could put on. At the end of the day, men want to know that they matter to you in that intimate space. They want to feel that their presence has an effect on you, and your response is the clearest way to show them that. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes the smallest gestures, the way you whisper something, the way you lean into his touch, the way your body relaxes into his, communicate everything he needs to know. So remember, he notices the way you respond. He notices if you're there with him or not. And when you let yourself respond authentically, when you give yourself permission to actually enjoy instead of worrying about how you look or what's next, you create a powerful connection that stays in his memory. Because intimacy isn't about perfection, it's about reaction. And your reaction, your responsiveness, is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give him in that first moment together. The third thing a man instantly notices the first time he's intimate with you is whether you make him feel desired. Now, this one is huge because most people assume that men are always confident, that they always know they're wanted, and that they don't really need reassurance. But the truth is, men crave that feeling of being chosen just as much as women do. In fact, many men walk into intimacy with their own insecurities about their body, their ability to please you, or whether you're really attracted to them. And when you make him feel desired, you wipe away those doubts and allow him to show up fully for you. Here's something important to understand. Intimacy isn't just about what he does to you. It's also about what you communicate to him. If he feels like you're simply allowing him in but not really wanting him, he notices that he may not say it, but it lands somewhere deep in his chest. But when you show excitement for him, when you reach for him, when you kiss him passionately, when you pull him closer instead of waiting for him to do all the work, that's when he feels desired. And that feeling makes him attached to you on a level that's far beyond the physical. Think about how powerful it is when someone looks at you and you can feel that they want you. Not because they have to, not because it's convenient, but because they genuinely can't help but be drawn to you. That's what he's hoping to feel with you. And the beautiful part is it doesn't take grand gestures to communicate this. It's in the way you look at him, the way you touch him, the way your body language says, I want you right now. That kind of energy is unforgettable. So many women think they need to be passive in intimacy, that the man should always take the lead, that their role is to simply receive. But men notice when you flip that script and show them that you are equally invested, equally passionate, equally hungry for them. It makes him feel like more than just a partner in the act. It makes him feel like your choice, your fantasy, your desire, and that changes everything. Even simple words can work wonders. Whispering something like, I want you, or I've been waiting for this, can light him up in a way nothing else can. Those little affirmations tell him you're not just here because it happened, you're here because I wanted this with you. That's a powerful message, and it creates a memory that sticks. Because let's be real, people may forget the specifics of a moment, but they will never forget how they felt in that moment. And when a man feels deeply desired, he ties that feeling to you. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't feel that way yet? What if I'm still testing the waters with him? And that's completely fair. Desire doesn't mean faking something you don't feel. It means leaning into the things you do like about him. Maybe it's his touch, maybe it's his confidence, maybe it's just the way he looks at you. Highlight that. Show appreciation for that. Desire can be expressed in small, authentic ways, and those are often the ones that mean the most. At the end of the day, men notice if you make them feel like just another guy or like someone you actually crave. That difference is massive. If you want him to remember you, to keep thinking about you, to feel drawn back to you again and again, then make him feel like he was wanted, not just tolerated, not just accepted, but truly wanted. When you give a man that experience, when you make him feel desired the first time you're intimate, you plant a seed in his mind that grows into something far deeper than attraction. You make him feel significant. And once a man feels that with you, he's not going to forget it. The fourth thing a man notices the first time he's intimate with you is your playfulness. Now, this might surprise you because so many people think intimacy has to be this serious, flawless, perfectly choreographed experience. But the truth is, the first time you're with someone, nerves are high, timing can be awkward, and things don't always go exactly as planned. And here's where your playfulness becomes one of your greatest assets. Men notice if you can make the experience light, fun, and human instead of stiff, pressured, and overly serious. Think about it. If every little slip up or awkward pause turns into a disaster in your mind, you're going to radiate tension. But if you can laugh, smile, and go with the flow, you instantly put both of you at ease. And he remembers how you made him feel comfortable, how you took the pressure off, how you made the moment feel natural rather than forced. Playfulness isn't about cracking jokes or being silly. It's about bringing an energy of ease, curiosity, and lightheartedness into the room. It's about being okay with the fact that things might not be perfect. And instead of letting that kill the mood, you let it make the experience more real. Maybe you trip over your clothes. Maybe the lighting isn't as flattering as you hoped. Maybe there's an awkward pause. When you can smile and keep the moment moving, you show him that intimacy with you isn't about performance, it's about connection. And that's incredibly attractive. Men often carry their own insecurities into intimacy. They worry about lasting long enough, about performing well, about living up to expectations. When you're playful, when you show him that you're not judging him, but instead enjoying him, it allows him to drop those fears. He doesn't feel like he has to impress you with perfection. He just has to be present with you. That's what creates chemistry. Playfulness is also what creates intimacy beyond the physical. A gentle tease, a cheeky smile, a flirty comment in the middle of everything. Those things build tension and keep the experience alive. They remind him that he's not just sharing his body with you. He's sharing his personality, his humor, his spirit. And that's the kind of intimacy that actually bonds people. Because let's face it, anyone can be sexy, but not everyone can be sexy and fun at the same time. That combination is rare and it's unforgettable. When a man looks back on the first time with you, he's not going to remember every technical detail. He's going to remember the vibe. Did it feel pressured and heavy? or did it feel playful and exciting? That vibe is what sticks in his mind. And if you were able to bring laughter, warmth, and spontaneity into the moment, he's going to associate intimacy with you as something refreshing and freeing. That's the memory that makes him want to come back for more. Now, let me be clear. Playfulness doesn't mean you're not taking intimacy seriously. It doesn't mean you're making light of something meaningful. It simply means you're bringing joy into the room. You're reminding him that this is supposed to be fun, not a test. You're showing him that intimacy with you isn't about meeting some impossible standard. It's about sharing an experience that feels real, light, and alive. So, what does he notice? He notices whether you can laugh when things aren't perfect. He notices if you bring an energy that calms his nerves and makes him feel safe to be himself. And he notices how that playfulness makes him want to let go of the pressure and simply enjoy you. And that right there is one of the most attractive qualities you can bring to intimacy. Because in a world where so many people are obsessed with looking perfect, the woman who can laugh, relax, and play is the one who becomes unforgettable. The fifth thing a man notices the very first time he's intimate with you isn't just what happens during the act, it's what happens after. Your after intimacy energy is one of the most powerful signals you give him, and it can completely shape how he views not only that experience, but also you as a partner. Because for men, that post-intimacy window is when all the emotions, the hormones, and the connections settle into place. And in that quiet space, he's noticing how you make him feel. Think about it. After intimacy, the walls are down. He's vulnerable. You're vulnerable. And the mood is completely different from what it was just a few minutes before. It's no longer about excitement or anticipation. It's about closeness. And men pick up very quickly on whether you lean into that closeness or whether you pull away. Do you cuddle up to him, touch his chest, smile, or whisper something in his ear? Or do you turn over, get up, grab your phone, and act like it was nothing? Those little choices communicate volumes. What you do after intimacy tells him what the experience meant to you. If you immediately create distance, he'll feel like it was purely physical. If you show affection, warmth, and presence, he feels like it was something deeper. And this doesn't mean you have to put on a performance or pretend to feel more than you do. It just means showing him humanity, a little tenderness, a little acknowledgement. A little care after the fact is what transforms a physical connection into an emotional one. Here's what many people don't realize. The after intimacy moment is when a man is at his most receptive. In that space, he's not distracted. He's not trying to prove anything. He's open. And how you treat him in that moment often leaves a stronger impression than anything you did during intimacy itself. If you make him feel rejected, dismissed, or unimportant, that will stick with him. If you make him feel valued, comfortable, and cared for, that will stick with him too, but in the best possible way. Even small things matter here. Laying your head on his chest, smiling at him, saying something as simple as, "That was amazing," or "I loved being with you." These things are not trivial. They're powerful signals. They tell him you matter. This mattered. And believe me, men notice this. They may not always put it into words, but deep down, they're taking note of how you made them feel after. Now, let me make something clear. Your after intimacy energy doesn't have to look the same every time. It doesn't mean you have to stay wrapped up together all night or pour your heart out. It just means aligning your actions with how you truly feel. If you care for him, let it show. If you're not looking for something deep, at least be kind. Because that window after intimacy has the power to either deepen the bond or diminish it. And here's why this matters so much the first time you're with someone. First impressions stick. The way he feels after that first encounter is going to shape how he remembers it, how he remembers you, and whether he wants to experience it again. Men might not analyze every detail, but they absolutely remember the feeling. Did he feel connected? Did he feel close? Did he feel wanted even after the physical part was over? Those answers all come from your after intimacy energy. So what does he notice? He notices if you're emotionally available in those quiet moments. He notices if you can switch from passion to tenderness with ease. And he notices if you treat the moment like it was meaningful, not just mechanical. That after energy is like the final chapter of a book. It doesn't matter how exciting the story was. If the ending falls flat, the whole experience loses impact. But if the ending is warm, intimate, and memorable, he's going to replay it in his mind again and again. That's why your after intimacy energy is so powerful. Because it tells him everything he needs to know, not just about the experience, but about who you are with him. And that's what makes it unforgettable. So If we bring all of this together, here's what you need to remember. The first time you're intimate with someone, it's not about being perfect. It's not about having the most flawless body or pulling off some magazine-worthy performance. What men notice, what truly stays with them, are the things that go so much deeper. He notices your confidence. He notices the way you respond to him. He notices if you make him feel desired, if you bring playfulness into the moment, and he notices the energy you carry with you afterwards. And here's the beautiful part. None of these require perfection. They require presence. They require you showing up as the real you, unapologetically, vulnerably, and with heart. Because when you do that, you're not just creating a physical connection, you're creating an emotional one. And that's what makes you unforgettable to a man. That's what makes him walk away thinking, there's something about her I can't get out of my head. So the next time you're in that first intimate moment, stop worrying about whether your stomach is flat enough or whether your hair looks perfect. Focus instead on how you're making him feel. Focus on the connection you're building, because that's what's going to matter when the moment is over, and that's what's going to keep him coming back for more. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these 5 do you think is the most powerful? Which one do you feel you naturally bring, and which one do you want to work on? Drop it in the comments, because your perspective could be the thing that helps another woman watching this right now. And if this video helped you, give it a like, share it with a friend who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this. Because at the end of the day, it's not about playing games, it's about understanding connection. And when you master that, you won't just capture his body, you'll capture his mind and his heart.